everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for an album review. I got a little help from my Twitter people on pronouncing this title and band correctly, I hope. Not really band, kind of solo effort, but whatever. Alcest Les VOYAGES de l'Em. God, I hope I pronounced it correctly. So this is the third full-length album to drop from this French black metal project, but the music that Alcest creates stretches beyond the sound, the style, and usual fan base of black metal. What's so black metal about this project is the way the guitars are played, some of the blast beats that pop up here and there, as well as the very romantic melodies that are used on Alcest's releases. And every once in a while the vocals come out in that usual kind of black metal style too. But there are unignorable influences coming from the world of shoegaze music as well. Most Alcest songs bring a really vast and dreamy wall of sound that is kind of iced with very sweet, cleanly sung vocals. It's a sound that a lot of new bands have been chasing after for the past 4 years, mostly because projects like Alcest and Wolves in the Throne Room have brought this style of metal so much visibility. But to be completely honest, out of all the groups chasing after this atmospheric black metal style, this BLACKGAZE style, some people call it, Alcest has never really been one of my favorites. I give the frontman for this band, Neige, a lot of credit because he's built a name for himself on this sound, and he's also been involved in a lot of other forward-thinking metal projects that I have a lot of respect for, like Lantlos or Peste Noire. But most of the characteristics that I didn't like about previous Alcest releases continue on to this album. You know, out of all the black metal and black metal influenced rock that I've ever heard, I think Alcest's music is definitely the most pleasant sounding. But I don't think that's because it's uniquely pretty or beautiful or anything like that. I think there are artists who are working in the same arena as this album but have pulled together songs that feel prettier to me, like Wolves in the Throne Room, and even that last Agalloch album was really great. I think Alcest's music comes off as pleasant because it doesn't really ever present anything all that gripping or exciting or challenging. It doesn't really push any buttons. For the most part on these tracks you get very sleepy vocals lost in this wall of sound that doesn't really have all that much character to me. A lot of the songs on this album sound very big and vast and airy, but I'm not really catching an interesting sound or flavor that keeps me locked in. The sound, you know, not to be brutal about it, but I just feel like it's kind of bland. But the thing is, I'm not too in love with the songs on this album either. I feel like a lot of tracks on this LP come off as a little repetitive, especially the song Beings of Light. The chords and the very light, heavenly background vocals on that track go on for almost ever. The opener really underwhelms me. A lot of tracks on this album really underwhelm me, and I don't feature all that much variety. The only two tracks on here that I really liked were the second track and the track Havens toward the end of the album. They're longer songs on the album, but they really justify their length by featuring more detailed song structures. Lots of changes, lots of builds, and both tracks actually featured screaming vocals on them too, which, you know, may turn off some people, but it really broke up the monotony. The biggest surprise on this album, though, came on the last track. It just has this chord progression, these riffs that really remind me of like a Foo Fighters ballad or something, but they just have the heaviness and the vocal mix of like a Jesu song. Yesu, Yesu, Yasu, It was pretty entertaining to hear Alcest make that change, but it's nothing I was in love with. You know, I just feel like this project isn't for me. I think it comes from an interesting angle if you're the kind of person who isn't really big into metal, but you're kind of curious. Though it is heavy, it is loud, it does have an element of lightness to it, lots of melody, lots of harmony. It just doesn't feel all that bold to me, I guess. I'm kind of feeling a light 5 on this, but what do you think of this thing? Especially if you're a fan of this project. Did this album excite you? Did you love it? Hate it? Let me know. Anthony Fantano, Alcest.